Welcome back to Zengen Movies. Today, we're diving into Smokey and the Bandit, the iconic 1977 film that's full of fast cars, comedy, and unforgettable performances. Whether you're a fan of the high-speed action or the hilarious antics of Sheriff Buford T. Justice, this film has a ton of stories behind the scenes. So sit tight, because I'm about to take you through 20 facts you probably didn't know about Smokey and the Bandit. Let's hit the road. Fact number 1. How a beer shortage led to Smokey and the Bandit. Believe it or not, the story of Smokey and the Bandit started with a beer problem. In the 1970s, Coors Banquet beer was like liquid gold east of the Mississippi. It wasn't pasteurized and didn't contain preservatives, which meant it had to stay cold, making it tricky to ship long distances. This distribution issue made Coors unavailable in most of the country. While not technically illegal, it was basically impossible to get outside of 11 Western states. Director Hal Needham, working as Burt Reynolds' stunt double, even caught a hotel maid stealing Coors from his fridge. That, combined with a 1974 article he'd read about Coors' scarcity, gave him a wild idea. What if people were smuggling it across state lines? And from that thought, the bootlegging plot of Smokey and the Bandit was born, all thanks to some hard-to-find beer. Fact number 2. Burt Reynolds' friends begged him not to do it. Burt Reynolds was a big star, but when Hal Needham came to him with a script written on yellow legal pads, Reynolds was intrigued. However, when he told his friends about the project, they literally got on their knees and begged him not to take the role. Luckily, Reynolds didn't listen, and he jumped on board as the Bandit. We can't imagine the film without him. Fact number 3. Jerry Reed was the original Bandit. Jerry Reed, who played Snowman, was actually Needham's first choice for the Bandit role. But when Burt Reynolds agreed to star, Jerry was recast as Snowman. Good thing, too, because Reed nailed it as Bandit's truck driving buddy, and we still love his character today. Fact number 4. Sally Field took the role to change her image and thought she wasn't attractive enough. Sally Field wasn't just trying to break out of the roles that made her famous. She was also battling some pretty tough feelings about herself. Believe it or not, Sally thought she wasn't attractive enough for Hollywood's leading lady roles. Even though she was a talented actress, she had a hard time shaking the image of herself as the girl next door or, in her own words, the plain, ordinary one. When Burt Reynolds called her up for Smokey and the Bandit, she was genuinely surprised. "You want me?" she asked, almost in disbelief. After all, Burt was the biggest star at the time. Handsome, charming, and every bit the heartthrob. Sally was convinced that Hollywood saw her as too ugly for romantic or glamorous roles, but Burt saw something different. He wanted Sally not just for her talent, but because he thought she was perfect for the part of Frog, the witty runaway bride with spunk and charm. Taking the role in Smokey and the Bandit was a big leap for Sally. It was her chance to break away from the sweet, innocent image she had been typecast in. And despite her insecurities, the role became a huge turning point in her career. Audiences saw a whole new side of Sally, one that was confident, fun, and full of life. Reynolds' love interest. She was a leading lady in her own right. And as for her looks, let's just say that Sally Field proved to herself and the world that she was not only talented but also beautiful, inside and out. Fact number 5. Pontiac only gave them 3 cars. Now let's talk about the real star of the movie, the Pontiac Trans Am. Director Hal Needham first spotted this stunning car in a magazine and instantly fell in love with its sleek design and powerful performance. He envisioned it as the perfect vehicle for the Bandit, a car that would not only turn heads but also embody the rebellious spirit of the film. Needham reached out to Pontiac, hoping to secure 6 cars for the production, envisioning various stunts and scenes that would require multiple vehicles. However, Pontiac had other plans and only sent 3 Trans Ams for the entire shoot. This limited number turned out to be quite a challenge for the filmmakers. As filming progressed, all 3 cars endured serious wear and tear. The high-speed chases, daring stunts, and crashes took their toll, and by the time they wrapped up, the Trans Ams were practically wrecked. The last remaining car had to be pushed into the final scene. Talk about a dramatic send-off. Despite the challenges, the Pontiac Trans Am became an icon in its own right, representing not just the film, but also an era of automotive history. Its legacy lives on, captivating car enthusiasts and fans of Smokey and the Bandit to this day. Fact number 6. The Trans Am needed some help to make that jump. Remember that crazy bridge jump in the movie? Well, the Trans Am needed a bit of an upgrade to pull it off. The car was given a modified NASCAR engine to make sure it had enough power to clear the jump. Some rumors say it had rocket boosters, but the truth is, it was just a really strong engine that gave it the extra speed. Fact number 7. The car sounds aren't from a Trans Am. Fun fact, when you hear the Bandit's car roaring down the highway, you're not hearing a Trans Am. The sound effects actually came from a 1955 Chevrolet Custom, which had previously been used in two-lane blacktop and American Graffiti. Talk about a movie car with a history. Fact number 8. Universal cut the budget at the last minute. The film had a budget of $5.3 million. But just before filming began, Universal Studios showed up in Atlanta and slashed the budget by $1 million. Despite this setback, Hal Needham managed to pull off the film with just $3.3 million. Part of the reason? Burt Reynolds' paycheck alone was $1 million. Fact 9. Fred the dog was local talent. Every great road trip movie needs a loyal companion, and for Smokey and the Bandit, that companion was Fred, the lovable, lazy basset hound riding shotgun with a snowman. But here's the thing. Fred wasn't some Hollywood-trained dog star. Nope, he was just a local dog with a winning smile and floppy ears that captured hearts. The production team didn't want a polished, overly trained dog. They wanted a real, down-to-earth mutt that would fit perfectly with Jerry Reed's laid-back, easygoing vibe. So, they decided to hold a dog competition in the area, and guess who got to be the judge? Burt Reynolds himself. He took one look at Fred, who was more interested in sniffing around than showing off any tricks, and knew right away Fred was the perfect fit. And let's be honest, Fred stole the show in his own quiet way. He didn't do any crazy tricks, but his goofy charm and hilarious reactions made him a fan favorite. Just imagine Snowman without Fred? No way, it wouldn't be the same. Fact number 10. Sheriff Buford T. Justice was based on a real person. When you think of Sheriff Buford T. Justice, the loud, brash, and bumbling lawman who's always 2 steps behind the bandit, you might assume he's pure fiction. But here's the kicker. He was actually based on Burt Reynolds' own dad. Burt's father, Burton Milo Reynolds Sr., was the chief of police in a small town in Florida. As a kid, Burt had front-row seats to his dad's colorful personality and strong southern drawl. His dad was tough, no-nonsense, and always ready with a zinger of a one-liner. He also had a habit of mangling phrases which inspired Sheriff Justice's famous catchphrase, "Sumbach." Burt often said that his father could take down a criminal with just a look, but when Hal Needham was crafting the sheriff's character, Burt knew adding a bit of bumbling charm would be hilarious. The end result? Buford T. Justice, a character so outrageous and memorable that you can't help but love him, even if he's chasing after our beloved Bandit. Fact number 11. Jackie Gleason. Improvised most of his lines. Jackie Gleason was the king of comedy, so when he stepped onto the set as Sheriff Buford T. Justice, you better believe he didn't need a script to be funny. Gleason was a master of improvisation, and most of the time he just did his own thing, much to the surprise and delight of the cast and crew. One of the best stories from the set is when Gleason walked out of the restaurant with a trail of toilet paper stuck to his shoe. That wasn't scripted. It was pure Jackie. He saw the toilet paper and decided to run with it, turning a simple walk into one of the film's funniest moments. No one could keep a straight face during that scene. Then there were his famous one-liners. What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law, and Sumbush became instant classics, all thanks to Gleason's brilliant improv skills. The man was a comedy genius, and his off-the-cuff performances brought Sheriff Justice to life in a way no one could have written. Fact number 12. Gleason used a code for his bourbon. Jackie. Gleason loved his bourbon, but he had a sneaky way of asking for it on set. He would tell his assistant, "Get me a hamburger," and that was their code for bringing him a glass of bourbon. Soon enough, everyone on the set knew what hamburger really meant. Fact number 13. Major script changes happened along the way. The original script for Smokey and the Bandit was quite different from what ended up on screen. For example, Bandit's last name was Lauro, Carrie was originally named Kate, and Cletus was referred to as Bandit 2. Even the reward for the bootlegging job was supposed to be a new truck, not 80,000er. Fact number 14. Junior Justice was Gleason's idea. Jackie Gleason wasn't just winging his lines, he also helped shape the movie in other ways. While reading the script, Gleason felt something was missing. Sure, Buford T. Justice was funny on his own, but he needed someone to bounce off of, someone who would make his over-the-top antics even funnier. That's when Gleason had a brilliant idea: give the sheriff a son. And so, Junior Justice was born. Played by Mike Henry, Junior became the perfect sidekick for Gleason's wild character. Junior wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, and his slow-witted responses made Buford even more frustrated and hilarious. It was a genius move that added another layer of comedy to the film. The dynamic between Sheriff Justice and his dim-witted son made for some of the movie's most memorable moments. One of my favorites is when Buford slaps Junior's hat off his head in frustration. It wasn't scripted, but Mike Henry's reaction was so perfectly clueless that it stayed in the movie. Without Junior, Sheriff Justice wouldn't have been nearly as funny. Sometimes it's those spontaneous creative ideas that make a movie truly unforgettable. Fact number 15. Jerry Reed wrote the film's signature song. Jerry Reed didn't just act in Smokey and the Bandit. He also wrote the movie's famous theme song, Eastbound and Down. Reed promised he'd have the song ready by the end of filming, and even though he partied the night before, he came in the next morning and nailed it. Fact number 16. Alfred Hitchcock was a fan. Alfred Hitchcock, the legendary director known for thrillers, was surprisingly a huge fan of Smokey and the Bandit. It was the last movie he ever watched in his personal screening room, and he loved it. Inside E.T. Fact number 17. It grossed over $300 million worldwide. Smokey and the Bandit was an enormous box office success, grossing over $300 million worldwide. It was the second highest grossing film of 1977, just behind Star Wars and beating other big films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Fact number 18. The Trans Am outsold the Camaro. Thanks to the movie's popularity, the Pontiac Trans Am became a bestseller. For the first time ever, the Trans Am outsold the Camaro, which had been the more popular muscle car up until that point. Fact number 19. Burt Reynolds' Trans Am was sold at auction. Burt Reynolds was given a promotional Trans Am after the film's success, but years later, due to financial difficulties, he had to sell it. That car was later auctioned for nearly $500,000. Fact number 20. TV edits replaced Son of a with Scumbum. When the movie aired on network TV, some of Sheriff Buford T. Justice's more colorful language had to be toned down. The iconic son of a line was replaced with Scumbum, and the redubbing was done by Henry Corden, the voice of Fred Flintstone. And there you have it. 20 fast facts about Smokey and the Bandit that'll make you want to rewatch the movie right now. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe to Zengen Movies for more fun facts and deep dives into your favorite films. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.